In this video, I'll be sharing with you the secret to memorable storytelling. I'm going to show you some of the things you can do and become memorable in sharing your stories. Now, it's something I call the three act framework, and I'm going to be showing you everything about the three act framework. Just before we go into the three act framework, have you ever wondered or remembered a story that got you stuck, that made you feel like, wow? It could be a TED talk. It perhaps could have been something that you heard somewhere and it just stayed in your memory. Maybe it was a story that your grandma told you growing up, and that story stuck to you, and every time you remember your grandma, that story kind of resonates with your mind and brings you to light and say like, oh yes, that story, I cannot forget it. That is the power of stories. It could be a childhood tale or something of the sort, but that's the power of stories. Now I'm going to show you how you can craft stories that hook your audience, build trust, and most importantly, make you unforgettable. That's what we're going to do in this video. And I'm going to be showing you how to do it in three quick steps. Very simple. The first thing I'd like to show you is to tell you why storytelling matters. Now, there's been a statistics that have been revealed that stories are 22 times more memorable than facts. So you remember stories much more than you remember facts. And this is very true. I tell a lot of stories when I speak. I use storytelling to convey my teachings, my messages, because people connect more with stories. I remember once when I was sharing a story from the Bible, I didn't use the names as was used in scriptures. I just shared it like a regular story, and everybody was so glued. It was at the end, they knew that was a story from the Bible. And that's a powerful thing about storytelling. And it's so good, it's so beautiful. So let me tell you how this works. We're going to look at the three act framework. Act one is what I call the setup. Act one is what I call the setup. And by the way, if you connect well with what I'm sharing, it's going to be your superpower. Stories will become your superpower, and it will make you stand out whenever, wherever you find yourself in your speaking journey. So, Act one is the setup. In the setup, what you do basically is to introduce the hero and their world. So, we're going to use Ada as our hero. Okay, let's use Ada as our hero. So we're going to introduce Ada right now in the act one, which is called the setup. So let me show you how it works. So the first thing we say here is meet Ada, a startup founder struggling to get investors. Now, by so doing, I have introduced you to our hero. I've introduced you to the person that the story is about. And I've told you the name of the fellow. I've told you what the person does. I've told you the needs of that person. So I've said, meet Ada, a startup founder who is seeking and struggling to get what? Investors. That is the setup. After the setup, we move on to the next framework, which we call the conflict. After the setup, we move on to the next framework, which we call the conflict. What is the conflict? The conflict is where you now add a challenge that forces the hero to grow. Okay, it's a conflict that forces the hero to grow. Now let's take a look at that. Ada's speech fails, but she discovers a hidden customer need. So what I've done in this conflict is to show you the challenge that Ada had faced and what that challenge brought about. We said that the conflict is where the hero faces a challenge that forces the hero to grow. In this case, we see that Ada's pitch fails. But rather than saying Ada failed and failed away, Ada failed, but she discovered from that failure the need of customers, which is something that is very valuable. So we move to the third framework, which is what I call the resolution. Now, the resolution is where we see the transformation that the hero goes through and then the lesson. So let's add something to it. Now, remember, we've talked about Ada failing and discovering a need. So we say Ada pivots her business, securing funding, and shares her aha moment. Now, what happens in the resolution is that based on the discovery of Ada, the need, Ada has moved on beyond the failure to move her business to the area of need of the customers, and now she has secured funding because of her discovery and is now doing well and sharing her aha moment. What is the aha moment there? It's what she discovered that made a world of difference. So that is the three act framework. Remember the setup, and the second one is a conflict. The third one is what we call the resolution. Now, let me share with you some quick pro tips and mistakes to avoid. Number one, do. Let me give you the do. Do use sensory detail. Now, you could say something like, this is generic. The boardroom was so quiet that I could hear my watch ticking. That is sensory detail, something that make people resonate and say, wow, that must be serious level of silence. It makes them think, it draws them in, and then make them to begin to wonder and try to flow in the trajectory of the conversation. Number two, don't overcomplicate. Don't overcomplicate. Now, what that simply means is stick to one story, stick to one message. Stick to one story that carries just one message. Don't go here, drag here, and pull so many things together. It's going to create chaos. It's going to create confusion. Don't overcomplicate. Let your message be just one message and you'll do good. And then demo. The third one is a demo. What does demo mean? Turn a boring fact into a story. I'm going to show you how to do that. Turn a boring fact into a story. Let's take, for example, our sales grew 200%. That's a fact. But if I want to present that, I could say it in this fashion. I would say, the night we almost quit, we got a call that changed everything. The night we almost quit, we got a call that changed everything. That is a demo. It's something that captivates you. I'm sure you're wondering what happened, what was the call about? That's beautiful. You're thinking about that, aren't you? Good. That is what powerful storytellers do. They bring very strong, insight into something that would have ordinarily just ended like a boring fact. All right. So now that you know some of these tips that I've shared with you, I want you to do something real quick for me. I want you to use the three act framework to turn a recent win or failure into a 2-minute story. I wanted to use the three act framework that I've shared with you. And what is the three act framework about? Is the setup where you introduce a relatable hero and their world, and then the second act is the conflict where you add a challenge that forces the hero to grow, and the third one is what we call the resolution, where you show the transformation and the lesson that we can learn from the hero's story. So I want you to use that and share with me. Create a 2-minute story from any situation that you may have experienced. I would like to read from you. I'd like to see your story. You can do it in a video, you can write it down, you can put it anywhere, but let me see it in the comment. And if you check the description of this video, you get all the details that you need to reach out to me, and we can have a conversation going forward. But I want you to do something before I sign out from this video. Please check below, just subscribe and click the notification bell, and you will get videos firsthand when we upload. So please, I'd like you to just do that. It won't take you 2 seconds, just a click. Thank you. Do it now. Do it now, please. Come on, click it now. Thank you. And hit the notification bell, and I'll be coming right at you always with very valuable videos. I'd like to say thank you for watching my videos. Enjoy it, and more value will be coming your way. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.